Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our Survivor 49 episode 10 reaction and review.
Yeah.
Look at us. Survivor, you gave us an early Thanksgiving gift. We are very thankful that the entire post-merge game so far has actually been really, really fun.
What a totally fun, crazy tribal. Like, they did a really good job with this, making me not know who was going home. We're going to pour it out for Jawan because, man, I'm really sad to see him go.
I like Jawan a lot too.
I do.
He just feels like, and this is just me speaking on like a personal level. If I had a list of the people from this season I would probably hang out with and get along the most, Jawan's probably really, really near the top of that list.
Yeah, he's at the top of my list. I mean, he's a nerdy guy. We're nerdy. Like, I just feel like his vibes are so good. I was so bummed to see this go down like this.
Yeah, he did a lot right. It just feels like ultimately him and to an extent Sage, like they fall victim to a few different decisions that went sideways. But then beyond all of that, everything in this episode, the entire tribal council, it really falls at the feet here of Yellow Sophie, because we are here to have a debate as to whether or not Yellow Sophie actually made the right move.
Okay, I've got my hard hat on because I am probably on an island by myself feeling that she made the right move.
I feel like she made a bad move. I feel like there are a lot of different things that she could have done. But I think really, though, a lot of this is just going to come down to what sort of play style do you want to play in a game like Survivor? Because Yellow Sophie, as we go through it, she may be somebody more akin to want to play the way Jess describes it. Whereas with me, I always like to try to picture people playing the game the way I would want to play the game, which may be a massive character flaw on my part. It may be very selfish, but I would play a game that's very snaky, that's very much, okay, I know I'm not winning any challenges. I know that's not my strong point. I can still have a good social game, but I have to backstab people. I have to do things that not everyone will like. And so I'm going to project a little bit onto Yellow Sophie, and I apologize to her in advance.
Well, and Yellow Sophie is someone who can win challenges, and that's why I'm kind of in the camp of I think she made the right choice, and we will definitely get into why.
All right, well, before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are getting so close here to 100,000 subscribers. At the time of this recording, we are less than 2,000 away. By subscribing, you make sure you don't miss any of our Survivor 49 coverage leading up to season 50 in the new year.
Absolutely. And in the new year, we're also going to be covering the Traitors. It's going to be starting very early January. So hit that subscribe button, help us reach that goal, and stick with us for more reality TV.
Thank you guys so much for your support. Okay, I will make the case for Sophie doing an absolutely disastrous move that makes me really, really mad.
All right.
Here's case number one, Yellow Sophie. All right, listen. You have Rizo, you have Savannah, you have Blue Sophie. It is abundantly clear that those three are just thick as thieves. They're never going to turn on each other. You are willingly saying, all right, by throwing these other people under the bus and going and telling them about the plan to go after Savannah, I'm fine being in fourth place with you three. Whereas, okay, let's say hypothetically here, they're able to pull off a blindside with Savannah, and Savannah actually goes at this tribal council. Then she's at Final 7, where you have Blue Sophie, Rizo, you have Jawan, Sage, you have Steven, Christina. That's three duos. She can just kind of float wherever, and there's a chance Rizo and Blue Sophie may be mad at her, but at the same time, where else do they have to go? I just feel like if she doesn't make this move, or even if that trio of Rizo, Savannah, and Blue Sophie all go in succession, she could go to the final 5 with these other two duos and be the person who just is the third in those groups, as opposed to, okay, I am a solid 4 with these three that are never going to want to take me to the end.
Okay, and for me, I'm looking at where Sophie is really winning a lot of challenges. She said in this episode that one of the reasons she really wants to keep Savannah around is because Savannah is also winning a lot of challenges, and having that is a really good challenge shield for her. And I was like, She's not wrong on that. If Savannah's not there anymore, then the focus does start to become more on yellow Sophie, and Sophie doesn't want that. So, looking at it from my perspective, I think she made the right move because, yes, those three, they are loyal to each other, they are
Yes.
sticking to each other, and they have shown their loyalty to each other. In comes yellow Sophie at the bottom of it, absolutely.
Mm.
However, she can end up going with them, having the majority. They will be happy to use her vote to continue to pick off everybody else until, let's say, they're getting down to the final 6, 5, 4, whatever. And because Yellow Sophie can win challenges, she doesn't need them anymore. She is able to continue to just sort of immunity her way to the end of all of this, where maybe she's going to be the person who's going to be making decisions, all the fire, all the everything, that she will be the person that's really going to be in power. And the only person she'd really be fighting against in that trio is Savannah, because Rizzo's not really winning anything. He's, strategically amazing. Sophie, Blue Sophie, yeah, she's not winning a ton of stuff, but she's also very social. But if it's coming down to who's winning challenges, Yellow Sophie is going to be able to beat them out and make decisions for herself of who she thinks she might be able to beat at the end. And I think if she's kind of going through all of this, maybe going along to the end with like Blue Sophie, Yellow Sophie probably wins.
I think the decision part you mentioned is the strongest thing I will understand with what you're saying, because you do want to be like, I'm the person who made the hard choices
Right.
late in the game. And I fully understand that. And I would say that if she does all of that and she gets rid of Rizzo before the final three, I think
Yes.
she would have a good chance of winning. I don't
Yep.
think she beats Rizzo if he's in the final three, but
No.
she might not want that. I mean, at a certain point anyway, there is a chance that Rizzo might actually play this idol, and we'll talk more about that as we go along in this video. I just think, as someone who does project my gameplay style onto others, I would be more comfortable in the game with the notion of, okay, I want to get rid of the people who I feel like I have a chance of losing to. And some of this may be
Mhm.
the edit that we're seeing. I know it's all being very influenced by that. But to me, it feels like strategically Rizzo is head and shoulders above everybody in the game at this point.
Absolutely. And all the theatrics that are going on
Yeah.
with his fake idols, and that he has been sitting on this idol week after week after week, 4 weeks now, still holding on to this idol. It is incredible. And if he's sitting against anybody at the end, he's winning. It's just is the way that it is. Yeah, you don't want to go to the end if you're Yellow Sophie, but you don't want to go to the end if you're anybody with Rizzo at this point. So for me, that's why I feel like Yellow Sophie made the right choice. Be with the people that are very loyal. So if you're in there, they'll be loyal to you at least for long enough that you can get to the point that you can just win your way to the end. And you are winning a lot of challenges.
The ultimate problem with the situation that the Jawans and the Sages and everybody on that side, and I know not all of them were there when we had that split tribal, but over at the MC vote, it was clear that Yellow Sophie lost a lot of trust with some of her allies at that point.
Yeah.
And when you do lose trust, it's very easy for me to sit here and be like, everybody's gonna betray you in Survivor. You can give
Yes.
them a second chance. But it's sort of like what Rizzo had even articulated in this episode to Juwan as he was leaving. You did go against me. Do you think I'm ever going to forget that? And so I understand that my way of thinking maybe just a tad bit hypocritical in that sense, where I feel like it's better for her to forgive these people, but I'm not playing the game.
I think because it's so condensed, it's such a short amount of time where it's like back to back to back. It's like one day you're getting betrayed at tribal council, and then the next day you're doing a challenge, and the next night you're having another trial.
Yeah.
Like, as quickly as things are going in this game, I think it's hard to forget what happened like the night or two before.
And this is where we do have to give a lot of credit to that trio of Rizzo, Blue Sophie, and
Yeah.
Savannah for their social game of sort of recognizing maybe this person's a little bit gettable for us at this
Right.
point, and we can turn what was a 3-person minority into what was effectively a 4-person majority going into this tribal, because Savannah did have that extra vote that she was able to play.
And the other thing about Yellow Sophie's decision to be with this trio is that there are two definite people that are above her as far as targets before anyone's ever going to get to her. So even if somebody does manage to get all the votes together and figure out a way to, target Savannah or target Rizzo, they're likely targeting them before they're targeting yellow Sophie. She is at the bottom of that. You want to break up the three that are the most loyal? Yellow Sophie's not part of that. So somebody else can do that for her.
Okay, it's time to talk Riz God. Riz God, I hate myself. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but you've earned the nickname at this point.
Yeah,
And
he has.
I love what you did at this tribal council. So we have Christina goes ahead and plays her idol for Steven. And I know she didn't need it, but I think that was the right move for her. She thought that there were a lot of votes going that way. She doesn't know about the knowledge is power, but because we know about it, it's so easy to just be like, burn your idol. The worst thing in the world is somebody else just takes it.
Yeah, she doesn't know about it. This was the right move for her, even though she wasn't in jeopardy. I see why she would think that she could be, or that, Stephen was going to be. It made sense. I mean, his name was heavily floated at the beginning of this episode. So I'm sure with her being like so in the dark on everything. She is the lone vote out here for Rizzo being like, hello, I don't know what's going on here. Like, she did the right thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting chess moves being played out in all of this, where we had the Christina Steven side of things really trying to think ahead and feeling like, all right, Rizzo, he might play his idol on Savannah. So we're going to try to have this vote on Rizzo.
One vote, just in case.
Just in case, not knowing then that the other side was going to counter then on their own by going after Jawan, thinking that, all right, there's not going to be an idol played on Jawan.
Yeah. Christina and Steven were just so clueless in this.
Yeah, they were really, really clueless. I mean, Yellow Sophie played them like a fiddle. Like, they're going to be probably very upset about it. But then Rizzo, the level of guts that you have to go up there and play what I genuinely believed in that moment, because the idols this season are just like a stupid batch of beads.
Yeah.
I thought that was the idol until the very moment Probe said it wasn't. And then I kind of thought, is Jeff kidding? Is Jeff trolling us in this moment?
Yeah, and I mean, as good TV as it is, he did get something out of it where he was able to kind of have this idol played and then see the immediate reactions of people to be like, okay, this person is in with me. This person wasn't in with me. And I see the looks on their faces of everybody and what is going on. He's just so good at social game, but also information gathering.
I just feel like Rizzo did a really good job going into this season. And this is advice to all the future Survivor contestants who are watching us the day before Thanksgiving here. You want to do your research on past seasons. I feel like Rizzo watched a lot of this show. Maybe he took a little bit from Tony. He's probably watched some international Survivor, because there's not a one-for-one comparison on US Survivor with Rizzo as a player. But I feel like he did a lot of research and he kind of came up with exactly what you're saying. There is something to be gained with doing these big flourishes. Yeah, it can put a little bit of more of a target on your back. But if you're Rizzo, you already have a target on your back. Like, nothing is changing with that. And then you can do exactly what you're saying.
Of course. Yes, he already has the target on his back. So for him to do something like that, there's a little bit of ego that's coming in there, and you're making people look like a clown, which isn't always great for jury votes afterwards. But I feel like mostly everybody there took it in good stride.
Yeah, it seems like the players this season so far, ... they all seem to be pretty good sports. Like, Jawan was really classy after being voted off. Like, he was very good sport. I feel like the jury probably appreciates, at least so far, what Rizzo is doing, and they feel, all right, you are the guy who's in control of this game. Like, 1,000%. Rizzo is against anybody in the final three. If I'm on this jury, I will vote for Rizzo. I do not need to hear any speeches. Jeff, I can speed up this final tribal council for you. Just immediately get to the vote and I'll give Rizzo the money.
Okay, let's talk about Sage versus Jawan, because this was, the debate that was going on where people were like, oh, Sage Sage might be the person who's a little more manipulative and is controlling the game a little more maybe than Jawan. I disagree. I think that Jawan was controlling that duo more than Sage was, because Sage just felt like the Terminator for the past few episodes, where it's just like Savannah, Savannah, Savannah. Like there was nothing else that was really coming out of her. She was so obsessed with getting Savannah out. And while Jawan was like looking at it, of course, he's like, okay, yeah, we've had little beef with, the bag and the water bottle and some
Yeah.
other mistakes that I made, whatever. But like, is this the move that really helps my game right now in this, final 8? Is this the time for me? I felt that Jawan was just a well-rounded player in that way. He is somebody who was like, he's loyal when it's time to be, like he was to his tribe,
Yeah.
until it wasn't time to be. And he was able to adapt in a really brilliant way, because he's also very social. He's very good at reading people. People really like him. They had the whole like, oh, I don't want to sit at the end with you because you're really likable. Same. He's very, very likable. Like it is very hard to sit up against somebody who's this smart,
Yeah.
who is this adaptable, who has gone from having a really good alliance with his tribe to turning on them, but still being likable and people still wanting to work with him afterwards. And then also being, really tight with Sage and really being behind most of these decisions of like, okay, I get you want Savannah, but this week we're going to maybe turn the curve and go here instead, or go here or go here. I think that Jawan was the better player out of the two of them. Sorry, not sorry, Sage.
We may have parted ways earlier this video, but we are combining our powers fully on this. This is 100% the right move for everyone else. I feel like
he's a better player.
This might be a tinfoil hat moment, but it just feels like to me the show massively under-edited how close Rizo and Jawan were. Like with the way in which he and Rizo talked after he would vote it out, I really feel like they were really, really close out there, really, really good friends. And I think that speaks a lot to the social game that you're talking about here, where Jawan, other than his tips with Savannah that you mentioned, it does seem like he was everybody's friend out there.
Yeah.
He was very malleable. There was a lot of conversation about him sort of controlling the game. And while some of Sage's quirks, shall we say, made for entertaining television, the whole story of her going back to the start of this season has been, she's a little bit of an oddball. Like she doesn't really relate to everybody all the time, and these are things that could make her an easier target now moving forward.
The other thing with Sage is that she's doing too much at once, where Jawan was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll move this way a little bit, this way a little bit, and this is who we'll go after. Sage is just like, not only am I going after Savannah, I'm flushing all the idols out. I'm going for everybody. It's all on. I'm just taking everybody down Terminator style. And I'm just like, I get that you want to have this big move on your resume, but it's really difficult in a game like Survivor that is very nuanced. Like, yeah, you can make big moves if you have enough people behind you, and they're not there at this point in the game. Looking around, Sage should have known that that wasn't a thing, that she was going to be able to do all of the things.
Yeah, like the biggest mistake that both Sage and Jawan, and I know Sage is still in the game and has a shot, but at least from where we are right now, they should have gotten rid of Rizo some time ago. And you have hit this point home.
Every single week.
Yes, it's just that is the thing that dramatically altered the game, where it's you're keeping this trio together and you're assuming that, all right, there's going to be other times to make this move. And it's just, you don't know what else is out there. You don't know about an extra vote that could be out there. You can't make assumptions in a version of Survivor where Jeff Probst just wants to throw things at the wall a huge chunk of the time.
That's what's so frustrating about hearing Sage talking about like, oh, I'm going to get Savannah and I'm going to flush out all these idols. Where was this 4 weeks ago? Like, you all know that Rizo has been sitting on this idol. He has not played it week after week after week after week. It doesn't matter. You could have hit him that first week and you would have got him out. But let's say he played that idol. Chances are then you might have gotten him the second time, third time, fourth time. You just hit him every single week. He hasn't gotten immunity to not be put up. So just keep hitting him until he's out. And you can't come to the game in the 9th inning and be like, you know what, we're gonna flush out this idol now, all the idols.
Mentioning the ninth inning, I'm getting bad Blue Jays flashbacks
How
here.
dare
I'm
you?
just
They
like,
played
no,
their hearts
they did.
out.
I was sad. Okay,
Go Blue
well,
Jays.
here is the good and the bad of this episode, separate from Tribal Council. I thought the emotional stuff with Christina in the first
Hmm.
half was really incredible. And typically, I don't like hearing from people, oh, I don't want to be here. But I think she was speaking more metaphorically in that moment with what she was going through with her mom. And it really just felt like her breaking down at the reward and her conversation with Jeff. Like, there are a lot of times that it feels like Jeff is milking a situation or just being obnoxious. I felt like he handled that pretty well. I thought he came across as very genuine with her.
Yeah, and I think in a situation like that, it's the only way he could have handled the situation. If he came at it in any other way, he definitely would be getting, roasted tonight by a lot of different channels. But
Yes.
he did handle it very well. It's such a touchy subject. I never once thought that Christina was like, I want to quit. It
No.
just felt very much like I would rather be somewhere else right now because my head is somewhere else right now and I need a touchstone to be able to get back in again.
Grief in general is a really hard thing to deal with
Yes.
on Survivor. And we've seen this over the course of seasons. When you have nothing to do other than talk to your other players, I mean, of course, you're going to sit back, you're going to be reflective. And it just made, my heart go out to her a lot. And I hope you can go and find another immunity idol and then also play that idol before Blue Sophie steals it from you.
I think a lot of us forget that about reality TV is that, we're getting like a 90-minute version of whatever it has happened over the past 24 hours or 48 hours. But there's a lot that's happening in there where it really is just paranoia. All you can talk about is the game. You don't want to open up too much. You want to open up a little bit, but not too much. It's all part of the gameplay. So a lot of people really are just stuck in their heads. And I think we all have to give a little bit of grace with stuff like that, especially all of us in the Big Brother community. People locked up in that house for 100 days with nothing to do except think themselves to death.
Vince, I miss you. Okay.
Yo!
Listen,
Me too.
I know. I would have never imagined becoming such a Vince stan after the season, given how much he irritated me for a good chunk of that. And yet, here we are. Okay, Probst. We gave you enough praise. It's time to shake the finger at you. You need to stop it with this rice food exchange. I'm so over it. Listen, number one, you're asking these people a week away from the end of the season, hey, do you want rice? Some of you dropping out of an immunity challenge. And it's just, these people have now seen this happen in the new era over multiple seasons. And it just feels like they're not going to agree to it anymore. They don't want to get roasted on social media. It's just a waste of time. And that whole time I was just thinking, nobody is going to do this time, Jeff. You need to get some new material.
It's too close to the end. Like, Rizzo really said it right. If I have $1 million and I can eat all the rice that I want, it is 7 days. I'm right at the end. Why would anybody give up a shot, a 1 in 8 shot at $1 million for a bag of rice today? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. He needs to offer something more than rice, and it has to be offered earlier than this.
Yeah, and I think if you want to just stick with the rice and that's all you're going to offer, you need to get rid of the other food rewards, because it's just like these
people are eating.
Yeah, they have other opportunities. This is not that big of a deal. You were just wasting time, Jeff.
Absolutely. And it is the same thing every season. He needs to start shaking some things up a little bit. It can't be this predictable. It's like, oh, and here comes the bag of rice.
All right. Well, that is where we are coming out of Survivor 49, episode 10. What did you guys think about Yellow Sophie's move? Who are you rooting for out of the remaining people? Let us know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 100,000 subscribers. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
And we'll see you here next time.